Listen, I had to go get my tablet. My daughter said, "Get the tablet, mom," because I'm trying to figure out why is this thing cutting off? It could be too much data. I'm not sure, but anyway, let's get on back into a slice of life. Georgia and Thomas. We're now on the west side of Gary, Indiana. I think I stopped at the Dairy Maid where I was dipping the ice cream. I hope I may not have asked the question. I'm going to ask again. When you were in high school, or yeah, when you were in high school, did you have a job that you liked? Did you all have jobs like that? You went to Dairy Maid, Dairy Queen, different places. Did you work? I thought it was fun. You're not making enough money to do anything but buy sweaters or some tennis shoes or whatever it is. That's all the money. But it was still great because I liked that the basketball team came in all the time, and I could dip the ice cream. Silly stuff, silly, silly, silly. But it's all part of your growing up. What I'm really talking about for a slice of life is for you to have that same slice of life when you look back on your high school years, you look back on your youth years, I didn't even talk about Easter speeches. I mean, I could talk about an Easter speech. Let me just for a minute. Do you remember your Easter speeches? Well, maybe you didn't have to have them, but let me tell you what was important about the Easter speech. The black church was very important because it taught you how to stand on the stage and say something and not be afraid. You may have been afraid, but grandmama was on one side and granddaddy was on the other side, and mama was out front smiling, and you got your Easter outfit and you had the Easter speeches in the afternoon. So I had a Sunday morning dress and an Easter speech dress. You all remember that? Because you couldn't wear the same dress that you wore Sunday morning to the Easter speech, because the Easter speech was something separate. But it taught you how to stand and walk and be poised. And I just like what the black church, didn't you like going to Sunday school? And I came up Baptist before I became AME. But it's the same thing. You had to go to you were always in church on Sunday, some kind of youth program. The black church did a lot to help the black child. I believe that. And I think we're still doing it. And I really think we're gravitating back to what we used to do. As the more things change, the more they stay the same. You see, because the black church, what is going on out here in the community now in 2023, all the rules are being changed, all the nuances and lies that are being told about who we are and who we were. You have to go to the black church, the HBCUs, to find truth. And then our young parents themselves don't know because they came up in these new day schools. You see that the information is not there, and then they get to me at Clark Atlanta University, and I tell them something that they never heard before. And I'm glad we still have HBCUs just for that reason. You see, so the black church was great for. I was in the choir. I remember messing up. How can you mess up? Lead me, guide me along the way. That was my first song. Oh my God, I practiced it. I had it all down pat until it was my time. I was in the junior choir. I had the book up here because I didn't want to look at anybody, and you could barely hear me say it. But I had it straight in rehearsal. It's just but you can remember those things. All of that. You see, this is what people don't understand about our culture. They make fun of the black church. They make fun of the black pastor. They make fun of the clothing. Yet this woman up in New York, I like her though. I like her style. It's an older white woman with lots of stuff. What's her name? Area. Well, let me just say what she said. She said on Sundays she used to go to Harlem and watch the ladies, watch what they had on. Can you imagine how much of that we took for granted? All our mothers' hats and how particular our parents were about how we looked and how important it was to get that Easter speech right. And then let's talk about the hair. Now, this is a wig. We all know that. I had hair. This last chemo said, I am not growing back. I'm tired. That's what my hair said. It's I'm gonna give you something back here, but I'm not gonna give you something up here. And I just said, you know what? I just buy me some girls. It's fine. But let's talk about the hair. That night before, the straightening comb and the curlers and the banana curls. Oh my God, you had to have banana curls. You just, you know what though? When you think about it, it wasn't all bad. It made you and us and me and my daughter and your daughters and your grandchildren, it made them who they are today. We can stand proudly and be that black woman and that black man. Because the little boys had to do the Easter speech too. Oh yeah. It's something about that black church. So anyway, I'm on the west side of town now. I'm on the west side of Gary. My mother has a school, so I would go down there. There was a library nearby because we always had to know where the library was. But that was a given in my house. A library card was a given. That's why when I came south and couldn't understand why would you stop anybody from reading books? And then that was then, and look at it. Look how that thing has gone around 360 degrees. Has come back when stopping you from reading certain books. I used to go to the library in Gary and get classical records and play them for my brother. My brother plays classical music. That's why he got me this electric keyboard. Because he and my sister, my mother, my stepfather, they all played. I was the child, it's always a child that goes to piano lessons before they were born and said, I'm not doing that because I was the only child. So now I'm over here with my little book. Where's my little beginner book that I got off of my piano? Oh, yes, I have a piano. Anyway, I'm digressing. I just want you to understand the importance of whatever that childhood is or was. It may not have been everything you wanted it to be, but it got you where you are today. And so you find the good and take that, multiply it to somebody else maybe, because everything wasn't hunky-dory growing up. I got a whole set of stories over here that I won't be discussing. But I'm talking about the good part that's over here. And it's the good part is what you need to remember and take with you. You need to take that with you. We had good cousins. The Hendersons, I love them. I didn't know my Thomases as well because I was with my mother and her family, but it was all good. I enjoyed the Dairy Queen, and I enjoyed Frable High School. Now Frable had, what did I tell you, two of everything, and we had ballroom dancing. Did you all have ballroom dancing? Who does ballroom dancing? Were we white? I don't know. But we learned to play shuffleboard. I thought everybody learned to play shuffleboard, but that was just the game to play. We learned O Sole Mio because we had to learn Italian songs and Greek songs and songs from everywhere. So we had that whole international thing. Maybe that's where I got it from. I don't know. And we had a regular track. In high school, I took the college prep plan, but being me, I also took the secretary plan with the college prep plan. So in college prep, you had to take, all the things you have to take. I hated algebra, geometry, but I had to take all that. But let me tell you what I love that is missing now. Nobody remembers this word but somebody my age, shorthand. Oh my God, I was so good in shorthand. And I had an old-fashioned typewriter. And do you know what I came to Spelman with? It's out here on the patio now. I took my typewriter to Spelman and my phonograph. I had a record player. So I showed up with a record player and a typewriter. You couldn't tell me I wasn't somebody. And you couldn't tell me, I thought everybody had that. And some people did have it, and I'm sure, but I was just glad to have mine. Not to mention, I used to take all my notes in shorthand. I wish I knew how to do that now. Do you know how much you can, do you know what a code that is? If you still knew your shorthand with a family member that knew shorthand, you could just talk all over people and they wouldn't know. It's the same way with sign language. I saw something about every child should know how to say help in sign language. And I don't know, I'm not going to even mess it up. But my daughter and I talked about taking sign language because you should have something else. That's why I thought a language was so good. I taught my daughter French and she did French. So you can say something and you got to be able to communicate some other way than the way we're communicating now. You need a third and a fourth something. Like, what is that? I talked to Evelyn and Cornell about. What is that called? Morse code. You need to learn the Morse code. You need to learn a sign language. And somebody needs to bring shorthand back. Now, I know you all are techie, but I'm just talking to the people who understand what I'm saying. There's some people out there that's we're on the same page. You out there somewhere with me. I don't know where you are, but you need something else, people. When all this breaks down, how are you going to communicate? I always wish I had a ham radio. What happened doing something? People had to go to the ham radio. When the lights and the this and the that and the other, how you gonna communicate? If you're somewhere in a stressful situation and you want to pick up your phone and text somebody, or you want to talk to somebody that's across the room, you better learn some kind of something that said help. My name is something. How did I get off on? I'm still. Have I made it? I made it to the west side, so I'm going on to something else. I shouldn't have ever gotten this tablet because it's just letting me talk. Okay, let me not digress anymore. So at the Dairy Queen, I learned how to bowl with Racine and Kenny. I think that was his name. My mother would let me go bowling because the bowling alley was up the street. That's why I can still bowl. They taught me how to bowl. And then the other thing we did was skate. Did you skate inside? We see up north it was cold. You know, not an ice skate. Girlfriend wasn't doing that. But we did go skating in the roller rink. I think about it now. I tried to do it. I was 40 something, and I did go skating out in College Park in my 40s. And the last time when I fell and I went straight back, I said, girl, you got a kid at home. You need to cut that out. So I haven't skated anymore, but I watch the skate reels. Yes, you can have all of this, all the degrees. You can have all the education. You can have all the suave, the Paris, all of that. I watch the skating reels because I just could see myself gliding. There's some people 50 and over. That would be my sister. She can skate. I admire her so much because she can skate. I think my brother may still be able to skate. I'm not sure. But I know my father skated until he passed away. It is nothing like, and when I hear a song on the radio, I just could feel myself. You know, now I need the one, you know how they teach kids to skate with the walker? I'm going to be the only old lady out there on my walker. I'm hoping I make it to heaven and they got a skating rink. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I want to skate so badly. Somebody invited me to skate in my 50s. So I went out in Decatur, DeKalb County somewhere to skate. I told the lady, okay, I put those skates on. Let me just tell you what happened. I put on those skates and I stood up. And I said, oh, I had retired from Delta Airlines. So well, I jumped too far. Anyway, I got to tell you about the skates. I put those skates on and I stood up and my body said, ooh, the music was just rolling. And my mind was just saying, I can do that. My body said, try me and see what I'm going to do to you. Go ahead, step out there on the rink. And I listened to my body. I said, no, I think I'm just going to listen to the music. Girlfriend did not didn't do that. All right, let's stay on the west side. So let's go to my senior year. Oh, at high school, I wasn't in a whole lot of things. I tell you what I did do. Jeanette and I were singing and dancing was always a part of something. So I was always on some program. And Mrs. Robinson was the best choir director ever. And she used to tell me, Georgina, you too loud. I sang alto, and I wanted to be heard, I guess. So I stayed in trouble, but some kind of way I managed. And we sang songs like Trees, and it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff, High school was great for me. I was glad to get out of high school because I knew I wasn't going to be home long. I was going to be off to Spelman. I knew where I was going. And my mother had this nursery going on by then. It was doing very well. And I remember talking about her nursery school. My mother used to bring the fire department and the helicopter to the school. So one time, either I was home from school, because when I was home from school, I worked in my mother's nursery. And sometimes, did I go back to Mr. Sawyer? Yeah, maybe I did a couple of years. Then I didn't want to do it anymore. I worked in my mother's nursery. And so the helicopter was there. So the helicopter person said, oh, Miss Young's daughter's home from school. I think that's what the story was. Let's go get in the helicopter. So I hopped up in the helicopter. He said, I just go around down to your house and back, because everybody knew where we lived. When that helicopter started up, now we're in a little round something with a little tail on the back and a little thing going around on the top. I said, I have lost my crazy mind. I couldn't wait to get out of the helicopter, but I have had that helicopter ride. But my mother had a great school, Storyland Nursery. She educated a lot of people. And after Storyland, I think later on in life, as she got older and it was just hard to keep it up, I think her new place was smaller, called Lamplighters Nursery School. And then I had a nursery school because my mother thought that I should have one. So I had one down here, which is a whole another story. Let's get to Spelman. When it was time to get on the train to go to Spelman, my stepfather, who had been a train rider, or just maybe both of them had enough sense to find out which car to put me in, because I was going to cross the Mason-Dixon line, and I need to be in the colored car already. So I never had to change cars. People got up and said it was time we're in Nashville, and people got up. And they said, well, I need to stay in this car. And I was thinking, okay. Didn't occur to me that everybody who got up, all the white people got up, and there was nobody white in my train car anymore. You know how you just don't know? You just don't know. You're a young person. You're 17. You're on the train. I'm going to Spelman, changing cars. Don't talk to anybody. Eat out of your little box. Go to the bathroom. 18 hours. Get off the train. You heard this story in our award-winning movie, Foot Soldiers, the class of 1964. You heard the story where I got off the train. Nobody was downtown under Rich's department store, which is now the HUD building, down in Mitchell Street. Nobody was there to meet me. And so I was like, I saw this white man. He was in the waiting room. He was mopping the floor. I said, oh, there's somebody. I'll just ask him. And that's when I didn't see the sign that said colored and white. All right, enough. I brought you to Spelman. We'll go from there. A slice of life. Thank you.